Namaste. Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna. On behalf of the Vallabhbhai family, we thank you for being here. You know, today is I've stood here many times, but today is a very, very different time. More with a heavy heart, because I had the most strangest relationship with my brother-in-law. It was one of those love-hate relationships. We couldn't stay without each other, but too long together was also just a little bit too much, you know. They say familiarity breeds contempt. But I think at the end of the day, the love still trumped. I'm going to call upon Guruji to do the prayers, the opening prayers. And for a man that hardly socialized, but chatted a lot, we have quite a few people that want to share some words about him. So I'll ask Kitubai Guruji to do the opening prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Never the spirit was born, the spirit cell ceased to be never. Never was time, it was not, end and beginning are dreams. Birthless and deathless and changeless remain the spirit forever. Death has not touched it all, death though the house of its sins. I know the Supreme Absolute Being, who is full of splendor, like the sun, far beyond the darkness of ignorance. By knowing Him alone, one can conquer the death and attain the salvation. There is no other path for the attainment of salvation. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sanjay.
So Surendrabhai, most of you would have known, born in King Williamstown, but bred everywhere. Schooled a little bit in King Williamstown, East London, and ultimately did his A-levels in Birmingham. Came back to the Eastern Cape, but loved the Eastern Cape so much that he didn't want to leave. He went to all these small little towns until they forced him to retirement. And who knew 40 years ago that we would all be back in Cape Town? So we have a family, a very small family, but scattered all over the world. Surendrabhai's brother, Dilipai, in New Zealand. The daughter, Ravina, in Perth, Sydney. And I'm going to call upon the two of them first to come share a few words about how they fondly would call him Mota.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Dear family and friends, we are gathered here today. We are gathered here today to pay our final respects and offer our prayers for the peaceful journey of Surendrabhai, a beloved son, father, granddad, brother, brother-in-law, Mota, and Big Mama, affectionately known as Sammy to all his friends, patients and colleagues around the world, known as Sammy to all his friends, patients and colleagues around the world. For me, he was always Pally from a young age. Pally meaning a good close friend, more than a brother. Bhai had his fair share of ups and downs in life, but he faced every challenge with courage, faith, perseverance, and honesty. No matter what comes its way, he stayed strong, not just for himself, but for all of us. He was our family pillar of strength. He had a big heart, a quick sense of humor, and a way of making people feel seen and valued. Whether it was through his advice, his teasing jokes, or his quick act of kindness, he left an impression on everyone he met. We pay tribute to Bhai for the enormous sacrifice and dedication he showed in caring for Ba, Papa, and Ma during the times of poor health. His care and attention, especially for Ba, was truly extraordinary. The love and detail he put into looking after her gave her strength, comfort, and we truly believe he single-handedly extended her life to the very last breath. I would also like to sincerely mention his love and affection for the time he spent at Cecilia Makawani Hospital, Grey Hospital, and Maclear Hospitals. With all the beloved staff and patients he came across, his love and devotion for them meant the world to him. I would also like to mention a special tribute to the late Neil Bell, who was his mentor at Grey Hospital. Neil was more than just a pharmacist to him. He was a close friend, a mentor, and also one he could trust, and from one that he learned his profession from. For me, Bai always said to me, it's all about 80% listening, 20% talking, attention to detail, accuracy, and double checking. That's if you want to work in a hospital, he said. And I thank him for that. I have never forgotten for the last 30 plus years. Bai was not simply known as Surendra, more famously as Sammy, the WhatsApp messenger, the walking encyclopedia. Bai didn't just send texts, he sent joy, jokes, and sometimes chaos across every time zone known to man. My brother believed in staying in touch, sometimes at 2 a.m., sometimes at 2 p.m. It didn't matter what country you were in. If you were his friend, your phone was never safe from his messages. Bai had friends in every corner of the world, and he made sure none of them forgot him. Day and night, their phones would go ding-ding with one of his messages. He didn't believe in time zones, just conversations. Just a few weeks ago, he dearly wanted to speak to Yashina. So we had a famous WhatsApp call, filled with laughter, banter, and Bai's usual wisdom and advice. I ended the call with a few words. Take care, I'll speak to you soon. But beyond the jokes and the endless messages was a man with a heart full of love and deep sense of responsibility. To me, he was more than a brother. He was a guide, a friend, and a constant source of love and support. From childhood through every stage of my life, he stood by me, sometimes with advice, sometimes with laughter, and always with an open heart. He had his moments of challenges in life, as we all do. He never sought the spotlight, yet his presence always brought us calm, warmth, and wisdom. Whether it was through a helping hand or a disagreement, to his family, he was such a very large pillar of strength, dependable, loving, and always there when needed. To his friends and community, he was a source of guidance and inspiration. His life was not about grand gestures, but about the countless small acts of goodness that showed his character, good or bad. Bai was larger than life in many ways. With all his quirkiness and faults, but always honest, kind, humble, he truly lived his life his own way. That was Bai. Love him or hate him, he gave without expecting anything in return, and he faced every challenge with strength and hope, never losing his warmth or his sense of humor. We remember him today not only for his countless messages he sent across the world, but for the messages he left behind in all of us. That love, laughter, and care are the greatest connections of all.
Even though our mutta lived in South Africa and we were all the way in New Zealand, distance never stopped us from being close. He had a way of bridging the gap with his warmth, his curiosity about our lives, and that unmistakable humour that could make anyone feel instantly at ease. During our many trips to South Africa, he made sure every moment was an adventure, all 6 of us somehow squeezing into the one car and driving us along the coast with the windows down, proudly showing off the best local spots. This passion extended to his time living in New Zealand, where he would often take us popos as we were affectionately called by him, on walks and picnics to the park. He wanted us to experience everything that he could offer us, making a lifetime full of memories which Ravin and I will forever cherish. And of course, in true Mutta fashion, he made sure to record all of it, every drive, every tourist trap, with the enormous camera of his. We would moan and groan as he would say, wait, just one more. But now those photos and videos are priceless. They capture his joy, his energy, and the way he cared so deeply about us. Ravin and I feel very blessed that we both had recent conversations with Mota only a few weeks ago, and they were full of the usual laughter and banter. It truly takes a one-of-a-kind person to bring together people from all across the world to celebrate and honour his life, a testament to the impact he had on everyone lucky enough to know him. He was more than a Mota to us. He was family in the truest, most generous sense of the word. Mota, your popos will forever treasure your life, and your memory will live on in our hearts forever, never forgotten.
Though his physical presence is no longer with us, his spirit remains in our memories, in the lessons he taught us, and in the love he gave so selfishly. By spirit will always live within us, in the values he stood for, in the lives he touched, and the love for he left behind. Let us honor his memory by living as he did, with kindness, humility, and strength. Today, our hearts aches with loss. It's hard to imagine life without his voice, his laughter, and his steady presence. But even as we grieve, we carry immense gratitude for the memories, for the lessons, and for the love he gave so freely. Thank you, our dear brother, for everything you gave. Your life was a blessing, your memory a treasure, and your love will stay in our hearts forever. May your soul rest in eternal peace, surrounded by light and love. Please join me in a prayer for him, for Bhai. Om Purva Swa Tat Savitur Varayam Bargo Eva Sayamant Yo Naha Prakyuda Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all.
Thanks, Dilipbhai and Yoshina. It's never easy when family are so apart, but you can see that the character Surendrabhai was, he made sure that the relationships were always kept. The next two people that I'm going to call, the one first, they used to communicate as husband and wife. Every day, every morning, there would be a good morning message and a good night message. So I'm going to ask Dayal Kaka to please come share a few words on Surendrabhai. Dayal Kaka.
Dear KTY MC, ladies and gentlemen, Namaste and Jai Shri Krishna and good afternoon. My journey with Surendra began many years ago when my family used to visit their family in King Williamstown. There was a close bond between our two families over the years. When Surendra was still working as a pharmacist in the Eastern Cape, I often joked with him that when you retire, you must come settle in Cape Town, near the beach. Eventually, he did settle in Cape Town, and that brought us together. We were regularly in touch, and he often came to me for technical assistance with his devices and other opinions. From my many conversations with him, even though he left King Williamstown, his heart always remained in King Williamstown and in East London. And he fondly talked about the people and of the town. He was kind-hearted, caring, and had a gentle soul. Some of you may know this already, that he was a regular buyer and user of Facebook Marketplace. I did not know of anyone who had brought so many products from here. I must add that he was a very proud mama to Herschel and Ketan, and they were very dear to him. He was very witty person and well-read and versed on all subjects. I will miss our conversations. May Paramatma allow his soul to continue the journey. No thanks, Sadhguru. Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Vallabhbhai. From tomorrow when you'll get the good morning messages. The next person now is larger than life, literally and figuratively. And if people look at me and they say, I'm larger than life. But the next speaker is also larger than life. But he disappeared. But I'm now going to call his son. So the next speaker, I'm going to call Jashil Makan to say a few words on behalf of his father. Jashil, thank you.
Namaste everyone. I'd like to take a moment to express my deepest condolences to the family on the loss of Surendra Kaka. I'll be reading on a speech remembering Surendra Kaka on behalf of my father Hitubai. I've known Suren for the past number of years, and like me, he was always making jokes or funny comments. Sorry Sanjay, we can't share the jokes today, as many of them were about you. But truly, Suren was someone who always saw the lighter and brighter side of life. Those who knew Suren will remember him as a humble, friendly, caring, and kind-hearted person, always smiling, always giving, and always ready to share. I often met him at auctions, sales, and anywhere there were bargains. That's where Suren was at his best. I thought my wife knew how to bargain, but Suren was the true champion. He always would buy more than he needed, and when I asked him, why so many, he'd say, this is for brother-in-law and my sister. We both loved going out to eat. We had good appetites and ordered like it was nobody's business. The waiter often asked whether the order was just for the two of us, and Suren would say, no, the family is coming. But of course, we knew no one else was coming. We were the family. Suren, my dear friend, we will miss you, and I think often of you. Go well. Your laughter and kindness will always remain with us. May your soul rest in peace. Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Jashil, for Hitubai. So Hitubai is sitting at the back, but he's not feeling so well. And I think there couldn't have been more spoken truer words to describe their relationship, their lifestyle. Both of them bargain hunters, both of them lovers of food. And Mama won't be able to hear so well, but Tansu Kaka and Keval Mama sitting just behind us. And I think, we've shared some lunch experiences with them. And even they took their chips and passed it to them because they could see the hunger in their eyes. I'm going to read a short message from the King Williamstown community. Our past chairman, Shri Surendrabhai Dayal, was a gentle giant. He will be fondly remembered for his generosity of spirit and his wonderful wit. He was an extremely well-read person, and his knowledge of pharmacology was commendable. He was very excited about his recent visit to his daughters Misha and Jeshika and granddaughter, and was thrilled to meet them. He will be sorely missed by all of us who had the privilege of knowing him. Om Shanti, go well, Sammy. The last two speakers that I have, so most of you are aware Surendrabhai's two daughters, as from the speech as well, are from Manchester, and the granddaughter, and I'm going to call upon them to share a few words about their dad. Misha, Jessica, come forward. Okay, it's fine.
Jai Shri Krishna. I'm writing this speech on behalf of my sister Jessica, Anya, and myself. Thank you all for being here to celebrate our father's life, who many knew as Sammy. Unfortunately, we never grew up living with our dad, but over the past few years, we have gotten to know one another and rebuild that relationship. He finally plucked up the courage to get on a plane after so many years to spend time with us in Manchester. In that short space of time, we've learned so much about each other. One good thing about our dad was that he was always able to light up the room with his quirky jokes, making us all laugh. He'd always tell us to use Google, but in fact, he was our human Google. After almost 30 years, we have come back to your home, our home, but without you there waiting for us with your tennis ball walking stick. But instead, God had other plans in mind for you, and your life journey was fulfilled by seeing us one final time. You leave us behind with lifelong childhood memories, spending the holidays with you in King Williamstown with Ma, buying Jaisha her Barbies, which you got for her to keep, going to the pineapple farm, the ostrich farm with Foy, and the long drives to Cape Town. And how can we forget that amazing holiday to see Nana, Nani, Ravin and Yashina in Auckland. Now it's time for you to go be with Ma and Dada, and we will continue to be strong like you always told us to be.
Thank you, Misha. So life is strange, and I always believe that everything happens for a reason. He was so nervous to travel, but he made it, and he spent 3 beautiful months. He was looking forward to going back to England, but God knew that this was his last. The last speaker, to and fro whether he's going to speak or not. You all have heard that what an encyclopedia Surendrabhai was. He could talk on any subject. And out of the Dayal Vallabhbhai, 6 grandchildren, there was one that he always loved talking to because they could pick each other's heads. I'm now going to call on Hashu to share a few words on Mama.
Sorry, I'm a bit sick right now, but excuse me. Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you all for being here today. Your presence means so much to our family. I promise to keep this short, so hopefully none of you fall asleep, because I know we've got some oldies here. Anyway, he was one of the most brilliant people I knew. He could be quiet at times, but if you truly knew him, you know that once he started talking, he would never stop. He would go on and on and on. But he always knew what he was talking about. Politics, economics, history, science, medicine, you name it. He knew it. That knowledge was one of his greatest strengths. He was a whiz with books. One of my most treasured possessions today is his old medicine books from his pharmacy days, which have those yellowed, worn pages because they are decades old. And every time I look at them, all I can think of is his face, and I'm so grateful for that. Beyond his knowledge, what truly made Big Mama special, though, was his compassion and his love for the people around him. I'll never forget how many times he picked me and my brother from school and university, and he would listen attentively to me and what I'd learned that day, just generally about my day, or any random thought that I had. And he always had something to say, though. I'm glad that he did. And sometimes when we come home from uni, med school, we'd stop in Epping. We'd go to the market, and Big Mama would always have his way in the market, if you understand what I'm trying to say. He'd always find the best steals on produce. He would chat and joke with the shop owners. He would haggle. And if you knew Big Mama, you knew that he loved saving money. So that's why he always went to the Epping market. And I'm glad that I went with him those few times. But there's one memory I'll never forget with him. It'll stay with me forever. One day, I come home with him. We've got a big bag of tomatoes. Half of them are like bruised. They kind of, as Mom would say, they kind of like crap tomatoes. And he hands me one. And he says, "Popo, bites." And I'm saying, it's like, "No, are you mad? Look at the tomato." And he says, "No, it's a perfectly fine tomato. You must bite it." And so I took it in my hand. I took a bite. And man, it was delicious. And it's just the small moments like that what made him the giant that he was. I think it's those small stories. So when you leave here today, when you go home, when you talk with your family, when you talk about my Big Mama, and you reminisce about him, think about the good moments. Think about the moments that you had with him where you laughed, where you joked, where you chuckled. Think about those loving moments. And think of them with no regrets. Because I think that's what Big Mama would have wanted. He wouldn't have wanted us. He wouldn't have wanted tears. He wouldn't have wanted sorrow. He would have wanted our celebration of his life. And as the saying goes, don't cry because it's gone. Smile because it happened. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hashil. And I think Hashil was most fortunate in the last 2-3 years to have spent the most time with him. And when I was saying in the beginning, this love-hate relationship, you know, Hashil was the only one that would hug him. With all that scruffy clothes of his and everything, he's the only one that would get the biggest hug from anyone. And I think that's what you call true love. Thank you very much on behalf of the family for being here. I'm going to ask Guruji to do the closing prayers now. Jai Shri Krishna Namaste.
यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण जन्म संसार बंधना विमुच्यते नमस्तस्मै विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे वनमाली गदी सांखी संखी चक्री चनंद की श्रीमन्नारायण विष्णु वासुदेवो विमोचति परमात्मा चरणों में प्रणाम गुरु चेतना ने वंदन पूज्य सुरेंद्र भाई ना शरीर नश्वर देह એને અગ્નિ ભગવાનને આપણે સમર્પિત કરીશું. We will offering the whole body to યજ્ઞ ભગવાન according to our very, very ideal tradition of Hindu Sanatan Dharma. Before we go for the final Agni Sanskar ritual, just would like to share with you some important science with you, which might be, it can be help to loving family members and friends. Now, science helping us a lot to understand our legacy of our Hindu Sanatana Dharma. And if you are interested and you really want to know about our Rishi Muni's strength, vision about all these things, now it is very easy for us. Lots of videos are available. And now we can say, earlier it was very, 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 very difficult to prove or to discuss with logical brain and logical arguments, especially in context of evidence. But now it is very, very easy, very easy. One, I think, yesterday and the day before yesterday, I have come across some videos, old videos. It is just amazing. Oh, and now it gives us some different kind of ideas and strength about our Rishi Munis, our Gita Ji, Mahabharata, Ramayana, our Vedas, Upanishad, who had talked about the death. They have explained us the conditions, situations and procedure before the death and after the death and during the death. And very famous thing and very popular message of Gita Ji by Krishna Bhagwan. अर्जुन ने કહે છે કે અર્જુન તારા કેટલા બધા જન્મો થઈ ગયા, lots of births before this birth, and don't think that after falling down this body you are going to be destroyed. That Atma Tattva Jeev Jitna will taking more and more birth till you are reaching in that state where you are diluting yourself consciously into the ocean of eternity, of that is Paramatma. તો સુરેન્દ્રભાઈના કદાચ હું તો બહુ ન મળેલો હોઉં, પણ બધા ફેમિલી મેમ્બર્સ, બધા લવિંગ ફેમિલી મેમ્બર્સ અને સંજયભાઈએ ને બધાએ જે વાત કરી એના પરથી ખ્યાલ આવે કે એ લોકો એમની સાથે ને સુરેન્દ્રભાઈ with them was very much attached. Now, last thing, the procedure of this physical body will be finished within few minutes, right? And our Rishi Muni has also framed these procedures very, very, I think, with deep understanding. કે તમે એ શરીરને કેવી રીતે ડિસઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ કરો છો. Then he said, no, we are, during the whole life, what we have done the Havan Yajna, by our senses, by our wealth, by our time, by our sentiments, different kind. Life itself we have lived as a Havan Yajna. But then our Rishi Muni did tell that no, importance of Havan is not finished. Then at last you are offering this instrument, the body as the instrument which Atma Tattva or spirit or Jeev has used as an instrument, that instrument also be given utmost importance and respect. So we are giving it to Yajna Bhagwan. એરેન્જમેન્ટ જુદી છે અત્યારે દેશકાળ પ્રમાણે, દેટ ઇઝ ડિફરન્ટ સ્ટોરી કે આપણે ઇલેક્ટ્રિક કે ગેસના કે એમાં આપણે એને પણ ધ અલ્ટિમેટ ગોલ ઇઝ ફાયર, યજ્ઞ ભગવાન. તો વન કનેક્શન ઇઝ with his physical body, second connection is with his Jeev Chetna. This is important. I would like to request all family members. It is not easy thing to keep control on emotions, but at least when we are doing this procedure downstairs, I would like to request with my folded hand, because of the science master has explained, please say him goodbye in such a way that his Jeev Chetna can be easily, with proper consciousness, can take off. બરાબર? રડવું આવે, બિલકુલ આવે. ઇમોશન બિલકુલ આપણે કંટ્રોલ, બિલકુલ આપણે કોઈ પથ્થર નથી. વી આર નોટ સ્ટોન. એન્ડ ટુ ટોક અબાઉટ ધ કંટ્રોલ ઓફ ઇમોશન, it is not speeches or lecture or advice, because the beloved person has got one living substance, એક જીવતી જાગતી વ્યક્તિને. But for him, for his all kind of welfare, we have to take this stand. કે ઓકે, હવે આ સમયે તમે બરાબર રીતે જાઓ, અમે તમને બરાબર હેલ્પ કરી રહ્યા છે. He needs our help. He needs our help and we can help him. Right? So second aspect is connected with his Jeev Chetna. Third aspect is connected with his close family members who was very near and dear to him. Definitely, because when we lose our beloved person, we also lose our one part of our prana shakti with him. That is deep science. I am not going into the science of death, what happens and how it happens. But only one thing, in this case, if you are sufficiently aware about this thing, then believe me, you also receiving some important message from him. This is not fairy story. This is not imagination. This is not advice of preaching. This is pure science. Pure science. How, when, that is deep subject. We'll talk when we will get chance during the Barmo time. But અત્યારે તો એનો સમય નથી. So this is third thing. Now I would like to request all of you, please stand up on your place. Chant Gayatri Mahamantra 3 times with me, and then we'll be observing silence for a few seconds, and then we will be going downstairs for the Agni Sanskar main ritual. Om Bhurvuvah Swah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvuvah Swah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurvuvah Swah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi प्रचोदयात्। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Astu Ma Sadgamaya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritam Gamaya. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukh Bhag Bhave Ma Kaschit Dukh Mapnuyat. Om Shanti.